today I want to talk to you about a book that I discovered recently thanks to a recommendation from one of my students. The book is called Articulating Design Decisions by Tom Greever. And the reason why it impacted me so much is because it packs so many of these communication skills that are so essential for designers to level up in their career. Particularly when junior designers are trying to show that they are adding value to a company, I feel like they can miss some of the lessons are explained in this book. For example, the book touches on how articulating your design decisions well can enhance collaboration. It can strengthen your design justification, which makes you look more articulate and more aware of why you are actually making design decisions. And it also improves project outcomes. In fact, poor communication leads to a project failure 1/3 of the time, according to a study that was done by the PMI, the Project Management Institute. And it's surprising to me that this is something that's so important, and yet we somehow don't touch on this so much in design school. It's something I try to incorporate in my classes, but of course, students tend to be super excited to learn about the Figma and all the other cool tools that you can play with to get better at the visuals. But being articulate with why you made a decision is the difference between being a good designer versus being like a really excellent one. Let's take a look at an example that the author explores in the book. For example, the classic, sign up login, where you have the two buttons side by side. And let's say you made a design decision to move it and make it look more like this, where you have the sign up as a big button there, and then below it you have the already a member login here. Now, this is relatively simple. You could just leave it like that in your Figma file, but without explaining or without making it clear why the design decision was made, you can end up arguing back and forth with the PM or the developer about, is this really adding value? Is this something that we need to do? Why do we need to do it? What's wrong with these two buttons side by side? So let's look at an example of how this design decision is articulated from one of the chapters in Tom Greever's book. We start with this paragraph, and he says, having two similar buttons for login and sign up next to each other is confusing to some users. So we're kicking it off with context. Then, an observation. We've observed users hesitate when deciding which button they should choose because the buttons are so similar. So an explanation for the problem, and then explanation for the solution. Because sign up is the most common case in this context, I've made that button the full width of the container and changed the login button to a text link. This is super concise, it's clear, and it makes it super easy to understand what happened and why. And because we have such awesome and amazing tools today, like Figma or Loom, the video recording tool, we can articulate these design decisions in a way that not only looks good, but also have it right in the file where everybody is working. So if I show you an example from our studio's Notion file, where we kind of keep track of everything that we're doing, you can see that we have all these looms dated in chronological order. And for us, this serves as a way to see all the work that we're doing and the impact that we've been having with the clients. But also for the clients, they get to watch these videos and understand everything that we're doing. And we send these out quite regularly. So these are all recorded with Loom. It's a fantastic tool. Now let's see what we can do if we were to work within Figma. So inside of Figma here, there is this Annotation Kit 3.0 that I believe was made by Mixpanel. And this is also an awesome template. I'm going to put the links to everything from the book to the sources of the things I've referenced to, this Figma community file in the description. You can see that it has all kinds of things to annotate files, like this notepad, all these like headers, everything that you need to kind of annotate your design file in a really powerful way. Honestly, for me, the most important one ends up being the notepad most of the time. So let's look at an example of how we can use the notepad in Figma to make our articulations, our design decisions more readily available for everybody working out of the file. So over here, I've prepared a Figma file. We have this fake app called Coolly. It has the sign up and login below. And we decided that we want to have the big button with the already a member and login here text below. So we can take this notepad component from the Mixpanel Annotation Kit community file. And then this is the description that I shared before from Tom Greever. And on the top, we have the title Prioritize Sign Up button. We've marked this as Ready for Dev with the new Ready for Dev feature in Figma. And we have the sign in V1 here. Sometimes what I like to do is I like to reduce the opacity on the one that we're not using to 30%. So that way it's darker and draws less attention. And we have everything neatly organized inside of a section like this. So that could be one way that you can use Figma to annotate your design decisions. And then when you share the file with a developer, your PM, or maybe even a client, they can actually look at this and see, okay, I understand why this decision is made. If ever somebody comes back to this file months later, there isn't going to be any confusion as to why did we make this decision again. Then you have to go back and maybe even redo the exact same task because everybody's forgotten why you made that decision. So with that, I really cannot recommend enough this book, Articulating Design Decisions by Tom Greever. The link for everything I mentioned is in the description below. And if you have any questions or ideas, please leave them in the comments. We love to hear what you guys have to say. And as always, we'll see you in the next video. Cheers.